Dorothy lived with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry on a small farm in Kansas. Her only friend was a small black dog named Toto. One day, as she sat with him on the porch, she noticed an enormous black cloud swirling across the plains. "Tornado!" cried Aunt Em. "Quick, Dorothy, run to the cellar." But Toto, scared out of his wits, scampered under the bed to hide. Dorothy had just managed to grab him. When the whirlwind lifted the whole house into the air, the little girl was thrown onto the bed and fell into a deep sleep. The house rattled and shook and came to a final thump on the ground. Dorothy awoke abruptly and ran to open the door. What a surprise met her eyes! A wonderful countryside like none she had ever seen before was spread out before her. As she looked around in amazement, she spied 3 little men and an old woman in a glittering dress. "I am Glinda, the good witch of the north," said the old woman as she entered the house. "Welcome to Oz. Thanks to you, the wicked witch of the east is no more. Your horse fell right on top of her and killed her. Her silver slippers belong to you now," declared the 3 little men, handing them to her. "As you will discover, they are very magical slippers indeed." "But I just want to go home to my Aunt Em and Uncle Henry in Kansas," said Dorothy. "They must be very worried about me." "Then you must go to the Wizard of Oz," replied Glinda. "Just follow the yellow brick road to the Emerald City. There you'll find the wizard. He'll help you get home." The good witch wished Dorothy good luck and kissed her goodbye, leaving a silver sprinkle on her forehead. Then, with a tinkle of bells, Glinda and the 3 little men disappeared. Dorothy put on the silver slippers, tucked Toto under her arm, and set off along the yellow brick road. They soon came to a wheat field where Dorothy noticed a scarecrow. "Hello there," said the scarecrow. "Where are you going?" "To see the Wizard of Oz," Dorothy replied. "So he will grant me my wish." "I have a wish too," said the scarecrow. "I would love to have a brain instead of this straw. Can I come with you?" Kind-hearted Dorothy could not refuse, and so the 3 companions continued on their way. The yellow brick road soon led them into a forest, where all they could hear was the rustling of leaves, and then a strange squeaking noise. They followed the sound and discovered a tin man holding an axe as still as can be. "I'm all rusted," said the Tin Man. "Would you mind fetching my oil can to oil my joints?" Dorothy did as she was asked. The Tin Man was very grateful to be able to move again. When Dorothy told him about the wizard who could make any wish come true, he wanted to come along. The Tin Man longed for a real heart. Dorothy welcomed him to the group, and together they followed the road deeper and deeper into the woods. All of a sudden, they heard a terrible roar, and a fierce-looking lion jumped out in front of them and tried to pounce on Toto. "You coward!" said Dorothy angrily. "Why don't you pick on someone your own size instead of a poor little dog?" "You're right. I'm nothing but a coward," whimpered the lion, and he burst into tears. Don't cry, said Dorothy. Come with us to see the Wizard of Oz. Perhaps he can give you some courage. The Cowardly Lion happily accepted the invitation, and the five travelers soon found themselves in a field of pretty but strong smelling poppies. As soon as Dorothy breathed in their sweet perfume, she fell into a deep sleep from which no one could wake her. The Tin Man and the Scarecrow carried her out of the field, but not before the Lion had met the same fate. They found him snoring away on a bed of flowers. What are we going to do now? Fretted the Scarecrow. He's far too heavy for us to carry. Just then, the Tin Man heard a squeaking sound coming from below. He looked down and saw a strange little field mouse. I'm the queen of the field mice. Let me help you, she said. She began to squeak some more, and in no time hundreds of field mice appeared out of nowhere. The man quickly built a wagon and together with the Scarecrow hoisted the Cowardly Lion up onto it. The field mice each grabbed a string and pulled the lion out of the field. After a good night's sleep, Dorothy and her friends got back on the yellow brick road. A few hours later, a shimmering green light appeared on the horizon. It's the Emerald City, they exclaimed in awe. They arrived at a gateway studded with emeralds, and Dorothy rang the silver bell. The gatekeeper, a little old man with large green spectacles, appeared before them. Good day, said Dorothy politely. We have come to see the Wizard of Oz. Of course, replied the gatekeeper, but you must wear these emerald glasses or you will be blinded by the brilliant light of the city. Walking towards the palace, Dorothy and her friends were amazed by the beauty of the green marbled houses decorated with emeralds that sparkled in the sun. The gatekeeper led them to the great hall of Oz, where the wizard agreed to receive them. As they entered the room, the travelers could not believe their eyes. They stood face to face with a huge head, with no body, arms, or legs. Finally, Dorothy spoke up. Wizard of Oz? She began slowly. Won't you please help me return to Kansas? Where did you get those slippers? Thundered the huge head. And where did that mark on your forehead come from? Why, these slippers belonged to the Wicked Witch of the East, replied Dorothy humbly. And the Good Witch of the North left me this mark when she kissed me. If you want my help, you must get rid of the Wicked Witch of the West, declared the wizard. And so the next day, the five friends headed west in search of the Wicked Witch. But the witch had eagle eyes and saw them coming from miles away. With a piercing blow of her silver whistle, she summoned her flock of evil flying monkeys. Stop those strangers, she ordered. The flying monkeys captured the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion and locked them in a dungeon. But they recognized the mark on Dorothy's brow and brought her directly to the Wicked Witch. As soon as she saw the girl, The wicked witch recognized the magic silver slippers. She placed an invisible iron bar on the ground and ordered Dorothy to bring her a pail of water. Sure enough, Dorothy tripped and lost a shoe. The wicked witch cackled and grabbed the slipper. Dorothy picked up the pail and threw the water on her. The witch melted before her eyes. All that was left was a pool of water and the sparkling silver slipper. Dorothy ran to rescue her friends, and they all returned to see the Wizard of Oz. The wicked witch of the West is dead, declared Dorothy proudly. Now you must keep your promise. Go away and come back tomorrow, growled the wizard. The lion couldn't believe his ears. He let out a terrible roar, making Toto jump and knock over a screen. That's when Dorothy saw a little man pulling strings attached to the huge head. You're nothing but a fake, cried Dorothy in tears. You're right, said the wizard sadly, but I will try to help you all anyway. The wizard filled the scarecrow's head with pins and needles to make him sharp-witted. He slid a silk heart into the Tin Man's chest, and he gave the cowardly lion a tall green glass of courage. Finally, he promised Dorothy that he would take her back to Kansas in a hot air balloon. Dorothy's friends had all gotten their wishes, and now it was time for her to go home. But just as she was about to board the balloon, the ropes came untied and the balloon drifted up and away. Dorothy had lost all hope and started to sob when she heard a familiar tinkling of bells. It was Glinda, the good witch of the north. Don't cry, my dear, said Glinda. Remember, you're wearing the magic silver slippers. I have discovered that all you need to do is click your heels together 3 times and your wish will come true. Dorothy kissed her friends goodbye and took Toto in her arms. Closing her eyes, she clicked her heels together and repeated, I want to go back to Kansas. Soon she was home at last in the arms of Aunt Em and Uncle Henry.